here are my top tips for filming an interview for the web.
One of the great things about the internet is that it is informal. So I am quite used to and quite comfortable with seeing interviews where people look straight into the lens. However, if you want a more traditional approach to interviewing, you can always position your camera on a tripod and you can stand in front of your subject slightly off centre and you can talk to them directly from this direction.
Be mindful that what you wear will create some sort of an impression, and although this look isn't that bad, it's probably not appropriate for a corporate internal interview.
I've got dark sides and I'm backlit, which is a real problem because the camera can't adjust to the light and the dark. So whenever you film somebody, make sure that you're not standing them in front of a window.
Now the light is actually behind the camera and falling onto me, so I'm well lit.
Sometimes when we're a bit nervous, we can sort of move from side to side and not always want to look into the camera, which can sometimes be a bit distracting for the viewer. So if you can just remember to stand still and look straight into the camera.
Composition will add for an interesting picture or rather a strange one. Plants behind your subject or even the company logo will just make your shot a little bit more interesting. Now, I know it can be tempting to stand further away from your subject, knowing that you can use the zoom-in facility on your camera. However, with cameras that have a built-in microphone, you're going to lose something of the audio if you're standing further back from your subject than you need to be. So always come in close. Now, it's not that I don't want people to be creative and try out different shots. However, if you zoom in and out on your subject, then most of the time all you're going to do is make your viewer just feel quite ill and not concentrate on what it is that they're saying. Equally, if you use the zoom in and out feature on your camera, you're really going to waste your batteries quickly. You know, there's every chance that you're actually watching Neighbours and not me. So, although I said have something interesting in the background, make sure it's not as interesting as Neighbours. And equally make sure that the noise level within the room isn't distracting too. If you're holding the camera, make sure that you are in line with whoever it is that you're interviewing. Alternatively, you can actually be slightly raised and look down on them because that's quite a flattering angle. This actually should be a more flattering angle. If you're filming somebody for an internal communications project, you don't probably need them to fill in any paperwork to say that you have permission to release their image. However, if you are ever stuck without any paperwork and you're slightly worried about this, then you could always ask somebody to do an on-camera permission, saying that they know they're being filmed, they know what they're being filmed for, and they know that it's going to be released on the internet. And then if there's any comeback, you actually have got some verbal recorded permission from them. So there are two ways of conducting an interview. One is where you hear the interviewer ask the question, and the second one is where you don't hear the interviewer ask the question. You actually get rid of their question in the editing process. So I'm just going to demonstrate the first one for you.
Debbie, what did you have for breakfast?
Oh, I had toast, peanut butter, mango and some milk. So that interview only makes sense if we actually hear the question. The second style of interview technique that I want to teach you is where you don't hear the interviewer ask the question because you can edit that out when you come to the editing process.
Debbie, what did you have for breakfast?
For breakfast, I had 2 pieces of toast, peanut butter, mango and a glass of milk. So, my answer stands alone because I have actually answered the question with the question at the beginning. The more observant ones among you will notice that there was a good 2 seconds before I started speaking on camera. Now this is a good practice to get into because if you become more serious about filming, those 2 seconds at the beginning and another 2 seconds at the end when your interviewee has stopped speaking will be vital when you come to editing. One last tip, have fun, be creative, but keep it legal and don't libel anyone.